The plant survived, the cat survived. The bad news is, hi friends! So a couple videos ago I told you all about the Marble Queen Pothos and the Snow Queen Pothos and how they were actually the same plant, and the Snow had more variegation in it and the Marble Queen had less variegation in it, and they end up being commercialized with different names because people want more products in the market. Anyways, so in that video I also said that I was going to try to reproduce that process with my plants. So my idea is to get a Marble Queen, take the most variegated parts of it, propagate it, and maybe propagate the most variegated parts of it and propagate until we end up with something similar to a Snow Queen. I'm curious to see if I can reproduce the process in my house and how long it's gonna take. So I want to take you guys along with me in this adventure. So if you're new here, my name's Larissa, and in this channel we try to make plant parenting easier by explaining how plants work. And sometimes we do some weird experiments with plants as well, but it's all for the greater good. So bad news is Lucy snagged on this plant. You know Lucy, she's been here before. She's fine. This plant is toxic to cats, but she's fine. I think she's tried a little bit several times, and then I don't know if she learned the lesson. She's fine. This plant is not within her reach anymore. The plant survived, the cat survived. The bad news is that she ate the most variegated parts of the plant. So this is a cat ate my homework situation. But we still have a lot to work with. So what I'm going to do, this is my Marble Queen, and I'm going to look for the most variegated parts of the plant. Pay attention that I'm not looking for the less dark parts, the lighter green parts, because if you look at the tips, the new leaves, they are always going to be lighter than the older leaves, but with time they're going to get dark. So what I'm looking for is leaves that have less patches of green and more patches of not green, like this one for example. So I found some very variegated leaves like this one, and I think right now the most variegated leaf we have on this plant is this one. This is also very variegated, and this as well, and all of them are coming from the same stem. So they are all like growing one after the other, which shows that this part of the plant has the genetic material to be more variegated than the rest of the plant. So this is the part that I want to propagate. So I'm gonna take my mini shears and I'm gonna cut this part out the most I can take. And oh, it still has some roots, which is good. Oh yes, that's good. It has a lot of roots in it. Maybe we can even plant it like this. But I want to root it in water first to see if it grows a little bit more roots. So this is my, you see, this is Lucy damage. This is a bug that I have to live with. She damaged several plants and there's no pesticide that can stop her. Anyways, so I'm gonna take out the bottom leaves because in this node we can grow another root. I'm gonna take this damaged leaf because why not? So this is my most variegated part of my Marble Queen. You can see if you compare it with the rest of the plant, this is more variegated. So we're hoping that every new leaf that comes out of it will have this sort of generic material that will grow more variegated parts of the plant. So I'm gonna put it in water. And one trick that I like to do is I have this liquid fertilizer, is the recommended portion is like 7 drops per liter. So what I do usually is I just put like 1 tiny drop just to help accelerate the process, and I found out that it really works. So I'm gonna leave this maybe under the grow lights or maybe in a very bright space. We have a very overcast weather here in Toronto right now, so maybe I will give it some grow lights, and in a few days or weeks we're gonna pot this in soil. And this is the type of experiment that will take some time, so I'll come back and I'll keep you guys posted from time to time. So subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss it. And we are here 2 weeks later, and this cutting is doing really well. You can see there is a new leaf coming, and it was really tiny when I got this cutting, but now it's really growing to a leaf. You can also see that it grew new roots everywhere. So that's why putting a drop of fertilizer helps so much. It just accelerates this process. Just was like, of course it had these big roots already, but has a lot of new roots. What I'm gonna do is I got a pot and I'm gonna pot it in soil. This is like basic cacti soil, and I'm really hoping not to make a mess. See, and we have a new plant. How cute is this in here? A bit more. I'm gonna give it a really good drink and soak the soil really well, because that helps the roots grow. I'm going to keep it maybe under grow lights or maybe in a very bright spot at my place, and we are gonna keep an eye on this new leaf that is coming to see how variegated it is. But it looks really variegated already, and we're gonna let this plant grow for some months. Hopefully it will be a little bit more variegated than I think I put in my bedroom than the other plant, you know, the other plant. Hopefully with time this plant will also have a part of it that is more variegated than the rest, and maybe we can cut it and propagate it and have like another version that is even more variegated. So that's that. And also, while we're here, I remember that on my neon pothos, you might recognize this plant from other videos, it just grew this tiny variegated bit in one leaf, and when I look closer, there is another leaf in the same branch that has a bit of variegation. So I want to do kind of the same experiment and maybe grow a variegated neon pothos. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this whole branch out and I'm going to put it in water. Where is my thing? Here. So I just need to take as much as I can, because I think those are the only two, and they're like tiny bits of it. Who knows? It's kind of random, but when you have two leaves that are already variegated, you have a bigger chance. So your odds increase. And I'm just gonna take this bottom leaves out. Yes. And I'm just gonna put in water like I did before, because this one was a cutting from the middle of the plant. It doesn't have any roots, but you can see there is some tiny projects of roots here, tiny like root points that are going to become roots. So I'm gonna put it here and I'm gonna let it grow new roots, and I'm gonna plant a new plant, and let's see how that goes. So that's the experiment for today, and we're gonna keep you guys posted on this whole adventure. If you want to follow it closer, like see what's happening day to day, follow me on Instagram, because I'm starting to share stories again there on my daily plant care. So that's all. And if you like this video, also gonna like the one in which I talk about the difference between the Marble Queen and the Snow Queen. Thank you for watching, and I see you soon. Bye.